Alright. Hi, I'm back, and I'm sorry I was gone. I had an extremely busy week. There was so many exams. It was end of semester for me after all. So I'm sorry I didn't read comments, respond to comments, upload videos. I'm sorry, right? I had basically no time, so if I never responded or never respond to your comments, I'm sorry. I guess you'll have to re-comment. I'll try to get back to my consistency now since it's a new semester. I should be able to get things up and running pretty easily again, as there shouldn't be too much stress. I'm sorry I was gone in the first place, but I hope I can make up the mistake and the missed time. Anyways, that should be it for now. Now, let's enjoy the video. What if Naruto had all kekkei genkai part 5? Let's go. After now entering the Namikaze house, Naruto seemed to be welcome by both the girl's mother and father, as well as another child, seeming to be the younger sister of the girl that Naruto met, which he actually found out the one that saved him from the street was Ino Yamanaka, a girl pretty much exactly his age. She was very, very kind, and in Naruto's eyes, the most beautiful girl that he'd ever seen. The whole family seemed to have an extremely kind nature, and actually went as far as took Naruto in completely, since they were the head family of the Yamanaka clan, a clan that over the past few years had actually grown quite a bit in the Leaf Village, grown not just in numbers but also influence. They had a pretty big house, which actually allowed them to give Naruto a whole room for himself. It was a guest room, so it wasn't huge, but it was extremely kind. Naruto couldn't even have imagined the hustle to give a random kid that they just met that day, to give him his own room. Yet, they did. They gave him breakfast, they gave him food, and they always had a smile. Naruto felt like in heaven, and over the next 2 days, he almost forgot the whole Itachi journey, and even kind of forgot that Itachi left him there, alone. His last 3 days of misery had completely vanished in Naruto's mind, and all he could focus on was the present, was the beauty of Konoha. He went on walks throughout the village and met many, many new people, not just of the Yamanaka clan, which all seemed to like him and were all very kind, but everyone in the village seemed to be so nice to Naruto. And so he picked that up, and Naruto became a very kind person as well. Naruto became very, very good friends with Ino. By the way, not in a weird way. They're way too young. Please don't do that. Then, on the third day that Naruto was there, right after lunch, Ino asked if she can borrow some shuriken from her father and throw them at a tree. She wanted to show Naruto a cool skill that she had. She'd practiced before a little, because she wanted to have a head start in the academy, as she knew that it was going to be an important part in her life, and she'd always wanted to be a shinobi, so she wanted to practice and get ahead of everyone else. And now she wanted to flex on Naruto, show him her skill. And even though it took 3 attempts to actually stick a shuriken in the tree, she did it, and Naruto was pretty impressed. He asked if he could try one, as Ino had 5 in her hand, so 2 left now after throwing 3 of them. Naruto aligned it perfectly, had it in his right hand, and swung his entire arm, not just with a flick of his wrist, like he should have. But somehow, it was stuck in the tree. It didn't just stick in the tree, it kind of obliterated the tree. It went in about halfway through. Well, a little more than that, which is actually the leading cause for the tree to fall over. It was not a huge tree, but it was a pretty thick one. So Naruto basically cutting down the tree with a single throw of a shuriken that he's never had in his hands before, that was very impressive. Ino was shocked. She was extremely impressed. Now this all happened in, you could say, the Yamanaka Park. It was not huge, but it was like a garden, but rather big. It was basically an orchard, but with a lot of free space. It wasn't really for farming, but it was a beautiful area. Green grass, beautiful trees, and many animals, especially birds, were there and sung songs together. It was the true beauty of nature, and Naruto got to witness it firsthand. However, now back in the moment, neither Ino nor Naruto knew what to say. Naruto had put in a little too much force in it, and Ino did not know how to react. Should she be scared? Surprised? Happy? I mean, it was just weird. Naruto had never even told her about the training that he did, or about anything about Orochimaru or Itachi. Really, all he told the Yamanakas was that he had been traveling with a friend, but then they seemed to get separated. Now, over the next few weeks and months, he would open up more and more. Of course, not telling the whole story, but he would tell bit by bit more and more. But more to that later. Ino isn't sure what to say, so she runs inside the house. It's not a long walk. It's only about 100 meters. 330. Which she runs pretty fast. In the living room, she sees her sister and her two parents cleaning the dishes, with her sister playing on the floor with a miniature Hashirama doll. Well, she is gonna grow up to be a shinobi after all, so you gotta start them young. They all look surprised when Ino shouts, Naruto's incredible! We know he's a special boy, her mother says. No, but when he threw a shuriken, the tree was cut in half. It fell over. Ino yelled. It what? Her father was intrigued. I mean, cutting down a tree like that is not an easy task. But for an untrained shinobi, that's not possible. I have to see this for myself. I'm coming too, Ino's sister yelled, as she stood up with her Hashirama figure in her hand and ran across the room, jolting out the door before even Ino's father and Ino herself could. They walked pretty fast. Didn't run, but fast walking, over where Naruto was still near the now cut down tree, inspecting it, looking if perhaps it was an old tree, perhaps it was already broken, it perhaps already had cuts. But no, it was a good tree, a healthy tree. A young, not too young, but not too old, a prime tree. And Naruto cut it down. Did you do this, Naruto? Naruto was a little shook. Not only was he shook from what he just did, but it was the first time that Ino's father and Ino herself didn't have such a smile on their face. They were surprised for the first time. They didn't know what to say for the first time. And that scared Naruto. Naruto once again felt the old anxiety that he had. He suddenly missed a family once more, missed Itachi, missed the life that he had, missed his journey. Everything came back rushing to him. So much so that he fainted. It was just too much to handle at once, as Ino's father immediately ran over, and then, without inspecting the tree further or asking any questions, he picked up Naruto and brought him to the house to lay on the couch for now. They cared for him, as Naruto didn't wake up for 2.5 days. As the family was eating dinner, Naruto woke up, feeling different. He didn't feel sad, he didn't feel happy. He was just there, as he saw the happy family eating dinner. But then all of them stopped. There was silence, as Naruto stared at the family, and the family stared at Naruto. And then Ino ran over and hugged Naruto. Breaking the silence, she said, "I'm so glad you're here. I thought you were hurt." I'm sorry," Naruto said lightly. "Come on, dear, you can't scare us like that." "Well, do you want to eat anything?" Ino's mother said lightly, matching Naruto's tone. As then Naruto broke into tears once more. He wasn't sad. He was happy. He had truly found a family. He was so, so glad. As he ate dinner and lived with the Yamanakas for the following 2 weeks, they talked about the incident and Naruto cleared things up. He had actually had a little bit of training before. A little bit being over a year. He didn't mention anything about the genetics or kekkei genkai he had, but he said that his former mentor, which is the one that raised him as well, did train him. And then he went on a journey with his friend, and then he arrived in the Leaf Village. That's basically it. However, today was a big day. Naruto would go to the academy, as of course Ino would. It's what she had been practicing her shuriken for all this time. It was the start of her journey as a shinobi. But Ino's parents had a great idea, especially her father, who said, well, I mean, he already has some practice, so why don't you go to the academy? You're the right age. You're basically exactly Ino's age. So you two can go together. Wouldn't that be great? As Ino's mother nodded, agreeing, and Ino was incredibly happy to hear this. She wouldn't have to, well, be at the academy alone for the next 4 years. She would already have a friend like Naruto. Of course, she knew other people and had other friends too, but having Naruto there would make her very, very happy. He was a really, really good friend. Also very kind like the Yamanakas. He was like a brother. Like a twin, basically. They had similar thinking, they liked similar things, and they were just happy around each other. So, together, they now went to the academy after having eaten breakfast. They were one of the earliest in the academy building, as when he arrived, Naruto's memories came back to him a little bit. Of course, he hadn't forgotten them, but his memories about going into the academy and seeing all these ways, trapdoors, it all came back, rushing into his head. But Naruto wasn't sad. He was just excited to see what would await him the next 4 years in the academy. Many new students and new faces came into the room. Naruto was excited to become friends with each and every one of them, and would be very happy to hear their story, meet them, talk to them. He loved people. After seeing the Yamanakas, he was excited to talk to anyone he saw on the street. He loved social interaction. It was what he lived for. Then the teacher came in, and silence struck the room. Everyone had been talking, and everyone was smiling, laughing. It was a great mood, and then the teacher was happy as well. It was Iruka, a Chunin. Naruto never met him, though he seemed very nice as well. Now, of course, they weren't expected to be able to do anything, but just for fun, and kind of as a meeting exercise, to get to know each other a little bit better, Iruka decided, instead of doing the traditional name games and stuff like that, or 2 truths and a lie, why don't they do sparring matches? Well, they would do them in the following years anyways, so why don't they do some now to prepare? They will be shinobi after all, so they can start now. It's the same as starting in 30 months. But that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I truly appreciate the support, and I hope I can be consistent. Thank you.